Now, I love Scott Pilgrim, despite how much I hate it. And nothing in the franchise more perfectly fits that mantra than the merchandise. We've gotten some of the worst and some of the best stuff to come out of the franchise from here. Like this beautiful plush of Ramona flowers, embroidered perfectly with Scott's face. Now, this video, by the way, we're only going to be talking about the comics here. If you've only seen the movies, go read a book. But, subscribe first. Do that kind of shit. Starting off with the first, and by 20,000 leagues, the best item, released. The Mezco Scott Pilgrim figure. Other than looking kind of like more Laurel, this guy's basically perfect. It comes with everything you could want in a Scott fig. And just look at the gorgeous cloth goods jacket it comes with. It's perfect, But in the spirit of Scott Pilgrim himself, just when you think it's gonna get great, it falls down. Yeah, this guy didn't get released. This is the Scott we got. So yeah, no jacket, and they switched the colors. So they're terrible. The green, it's just much less iconic than the red and yellow. Anyway, they released two variants of this guy, one with a green shirt and the other with a purple one. 50% of these figures came with an open mouth face, and 50% of them came with a closed mouth face, but it was random. A green one could have an open mouth or a closed mouth, and a purple one could have open or closed. It was just completely random, but it seemed to be split 50-50. And then, in 2022, after a 12-year-long Scott Pilgrim drought, where we only saw the dreaded Funko Pops, art toy company ISH revealed two new figures, a Scott and a Ramona. And they're fine. I bought both of them as soon as I could. But they're just a little too refined and cleanly sculpted to fit the art style of the comics. That's why I like the Mezco one so much, even though it looks a bit like Oral. Those rounded edges, those kind of claymation feels, it's what the comics are so ingrained with. It so perfectly fits Scott Pilgrim. And I don't think these new figures, with the clean, more polished look, it doesn't look like the comics. It just doesn't fit. Still, this line is much more extensive, featuring many, many, many variants of Ramona. Not so much Scott, but certainly Ramona. And we got three main sets, first being the Finest Hour versions, based on their looks in the final fight scene at the Chaos Theater. And then we got their basic casual clothes, as well as nega variants of both Scott and Ramona. Now here's where it gets actually pretty cool. Exclusive to the web store Bottleneck Gallery, we got the best variant released ever, the Plumtree t-shirt Scott Pilgrim. Yeah, this is flames. This fucking rocks, dude. I love Plumtree. They inspired Scott Pilgrim. They made everything. It perfectly fits to have the logo on this figure. This is the quintessential Scott Pilgrim figure. Despite it being the newer Bottleneck Gallery variant, it doesn't look as good as the old Mezco one, but still, with the Plumtree logo, it just makes it so fucking perfect. And now, we come crashing right back down to reality with the rest of the variants, consisting solely of different color hairstyles for Ramona. No new molds, just different color hair for Ramona. Lame. The final thing I'll talk about today is the miniatures, which were released via a Kickstarter in 2021 called Scott Pilgrim Miniatures vs. the World, the first set of which finally gave us figures of the hugely desired Kim Pines, Steven Stills, Knives Chow, Matthew Patel, and his three demon hipster chicks. And they also gave us Scott and Ramona, because you need to have them. Not as exciting, but you do need to have them. And now, after the success of this first set, we saw three more released. Second set released even more highly requested characters like Envy Adams, Todd Ingram, and Lynette. And another set came with Roxy Richter and the Kadianagi twins, as well as both of their robots. And the final set released was a deluxe set, which came with larger figures of Gigaudian and Robot 02, as well as Wallace Wells, Gideon Graves, and yet another Ramona. So yeah, it fucking sucks trying to put together a cohesive collection for Scott Pilgrim. Other than the minis, we've only ever seen figures of Scott and Ramona, but on the other hand, the stuff that we have gotten is pretty good. So yeah, that's it. Just like the other Scott Pilgrim franchise stuff, as a whole, it's pretty mixed bag, with way too fucking much Ramona. But still, I love it, and also, yeah, he's literally me. I'm him. I am Scott.